All right, Troy. Hey, long time no see.
I
How's it
know.
going?
It's going pretty good, man. I know I was supposed to hold down the fort while you're on vacation, and I failed. So things got a little hectic and busy. But I'm glad we're here. We're making time, and we're gonna kick off another episode.
Heck yeah, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. So, good stuff moving forward.
As you can
So,
tell, Chris Love missed me. So
heck no. Hey, so Troy, there's been a lot going on this past, week or two?
yeah,
Oh my goodness, from big time coaches getting fired to interesting wins to Ohio State's continued dominance. Where do we even? Oh, and even New Mexico State in their path to hopefully becoming bowl eligible. Where do we even start, Troy?
man. Good question. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with the LSU Vanderbilt game. I think that's a
Oh
good
yeah,
place to start. So. Um,
Pavia for Heisman. Even Johnny Manziel endorses him. Pavia for Heisman.
Man, I mean, really, I mean, is there anyone that's like a standout Heisman candidate right now? I mean, I don't think so. That
Um,
Mendoza kid from Indiana is pretty good, but man, if you look to see what Pavia has done, not only for Vanderbilt, right? Because I mean, I would have thought that was impossible years ago. Let's rewind that back to his New Mexico State days, right? Dude, he took
exactly.
New Mexico State to a 10-win season. That is unheard of.
It
So
is.
you can't just look at what he's been doing at Vanderbilt. Look at what he's done at New Mexico State, man. I'm a fan. So this last week, obviously, I'm an LSU fan too. So this last weekend was a little hard watching that game. I will say I was pretty calm. I had like some. It, I wasn't. It was frustrating at times because I did want to see LSU win the game. I wanted to see them get a chance to, play for a national championship. However, I am a realistic fan, and I've been telling you this all year. I have been very kind of concerned about their offensive play. Right? They've always got off to slow starts, and I knew if they did that against Vanderbilt, they got off to a slow start against Vanderbilt. It wasn't going to be good. They were going to lose that game, and Vanderbilt got off. I mean, on a quick start there and, scored a touchdown, drove down the field, scored a touchdown. So, man, they took control of that game right away. I feel like the defense did not have an answer for Vanderbilt until the second half. And this goes back to Tim Beck's offense, man.
Yes.
Man, he uses the entire field. I don't know. I feel like LSU was very one-dimensional. They kept throwing those bubble screens, those little 2-yard routes on the sidelines. Man, you know how I feel about those bubble screens. So
Yeah,
there's
you're
a
not
time
a
and place
fan.
for them. But Nessmeyer, too, he looked uncomfortable in the pocket, man. And it seems like anytime that there's any little pressure or, the offensive line can't pick up a blitz, I mean, he freaks out. Things just don't go their way. And, of a big plays created by, the defense. And with Pavia, it was the complete opposite. So, if they weren't able to pick up a blitz or if he had some pressure, I mean, he was able to feel that pressure pretty well. And there was no hesitation on his end. He just took off or he made a play. Um, Man, that guy's not going to be slinging it down the field too much, but he makes some pretty incredible passes. And shout out to Eli Stowers, a couple of their other receivers, because they all made some pretty big plays, man. It was a team effort, and I think they all played well. I think Vanderbilt's defense played really well because they surprised me whenever they did blitz and put pressure on Nessmeyer as well. They made LSU's offense look uncomfortable, and I wasn't expecting that from their defense at all. But man, they played really well.
Yeah. Hey, Troy. Coach Kill, he's still an analyst, right, for
Yeah,
Vanderbilt?
yeah, he
See,
is.
that Tim Beck, and I'm attaching Coach Kill, of course, because of the New Mexico State connection and him being an analyst. Yeah, that kind of Coach Kill, Tim Beck influenced offense. What I love about it is, like you said, they use the whole field,
Yep.
so that's great schematically. And then second thing, what I've always noticed about uh, kill influenced teams is he's always going to play to his players' strengths. And I know that sounds like, yeah, of course. But it seems like he'll always have like a utility back or kind of a gadget player.
Yeah.
Like, and I know Eli Stowers is more solidified now at the tight end spot, but man, that guy played what, 5 positions his whole college career? He's
Yeah.
played everything. But I just love that if you're an athlete and you have a strength, he's going to exploit that and he's going to put that on the field. He's going to put you on the field and get the ball in your hands to where you're going to be confident and you're going to make plays. And I think that's the mark of a true coach, if he could get the best out of each of his players and put them in a position of success. And it's no surprise that Vanderbilt's beating these tough SEC teams and looking good because their players are very confident. They have
Yeah.
a great culture over there. And then two, if you can play and you can contribute, you're getting on the field.
Yeah.
And you're going to be put in a position to be successful. And I think more coaches, heck, more ADs, when they're looking to bring in quality coaches, they need to look at coaches like Tim Beck, or they need to look at coaches that could bring the best out of their players.
Man, I agree, and I give credit to Clark Lee because they weren't chasing after those, those 4-star guys or anything like that. Bringing Pavia on board, that was a gamble. Now, I saw early on whenever that second year at New Mexico State, whenever they went on that run, I mean, what kind of special player he was going to be or that he was. I will say this, Chris, and I think you could you'll feel the same way. As a New Mexico State fan, I'm hurting right now because you look at Eli Stowers, you see Pavia, and you're like, man, this New Mexico State team would have been incredible. Who knows what would have happened if they would have stayed. However, I'm happy for them. They're doing very well. They're representing, the state of New Mexico well, and they've definitely. I know they have a bigger fan base now because of their success and the things that they've done out there. So, and it's like, man, as a college football fan, look, I like seeing different teams have success, right? Teams that maybe weren't successful as much in the past, Vanderbilt being one of them, Tulane being another, and you're starting to see those teams kind of balance out and do well in college football. And as a fan, you have to appreciate that. So I know earlier on our episodes, I told you if Vanderbilt can win out, they're going to the playoffs. Man, you look at the remainder of their schedule, they do have a gauntlet, right? They still got Missouri, they got Texas, they got Tennessee and Kentucky. So, man, it's not going to be easy. But the SEC, I feel like right now is wide open. Everyone is losing. Everyone's, it seems like every week there's some type of upset happening, or someone's beating someone else in the SEC. So, who knows? I still think it's open. I don't think obviously I think Bama's doing pretty well, man. They're looking strong. I know everyone kind of counted them out earlier in the season when they lost to Florida State, but I mean they're doing good now. As far as LSU goes, man, they need to figure something out with their offense. They do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not confident, with what they have right now, with what they've shown going up against those Bamas. And I mean, man, they got A&M next, so we'll see how that looks.
Yeah. Troy, let me ask you, kind of staying in the SEC, do you think Alabama's the real deal? Do you think they're a national championship contender? I know ever since that ugly loss at the beginning of the season, they've been rolling. And I know Ty Simpson is the Heisman front runner. So do you feel like they could compete with Ohio State to potentially, get to the national championship or make some noise in the national championship, or do you think they have a ways to go?
Man, I think they still have a little bit of ways to go, but Ty Simpson he's getting hot, And
Yeah.
Ohio State, man, they've been good. They've been dominant. They've been winning the games that they should be winning. They're a tough team. I will say I'm a little bit more impressed with Alabama's schedule so far and to see what they've done. But, man, I do think that they're a contender. I really think that they're capable of winning the national championship this year. And once again, that pains me to say just because, with me being an LSU fan, I want to see LSU win. I want to see them beat Alabama. I just don't know. I'm a realistic fan, too, and I just don't know if that's going to happen.
I feel the same about Texas. I mean, of course, I'm going to root for the Horns, and I want to see them successful, but I'm realistic as well. And at this point, I'm like, hey, if we could get to 9 games in a bowl,
Yeah.
I'll live with that because we're just not there. I mean, and which is unfortunate because I feel like this was the year to really make some noise because the SEC's wide open. I mean, yeah, Ole Miss is pretty good and Georgia's good, but I don't feel like they're as dominant as in. Well, at least Georgia's not as dominant as they were in years past.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Alabama, they're getting hot, like you said, but I don't know. I just don't trust them completely, especially when it comes to the playoffs.
SEC is weird right now, man. Let me ask you about OU. What's your take on OU so far?
They're okay. They're okay. I mean, I love Venables, man. He's my type of coach. Just a tough, passionate guy, defensive-minded coach. So I know his boys are going to always come out and compete,
Yeah.
I think they can make it to the playoffs, of course. I just don't know if I trust, what is it, Mateer? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
Mateer?
John Mateer.
Yeah. I like him, but I just don't trust him completely.
Yeah. No, man, I like John Mateer as a player too, and obviously he's still dealing with some of that thumb injury situation, but I like him. I think he's a good quarterback. Now, I don't think they have the offensive line to do much. Even if they did make the playoffs, I don't think that they have the offensive line to go far in the playoffs if they did. I don't even think they have the offensive line to win the SEC championship if they made it. But, man, I'm excited. I think I'm going to catch an OU game at the last game of the season. LSU's coming into town, so I'm excited for that. If anything good came out of this Vanderbilt loss, is these tickets might be a little cheaper. so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. OU's kind of one of those weird schools for me, just because you see what they did against Texas, and they didn't look good, and but the games that they're supposed to win, they're winning, so it's really kind of hard to see where they're at. So, bless you. Doing okay over there?
No, I'm good. No, I agree. I don't know, Troy. My dark horse team that I don't know, Troy. I kind of want to see them go far, and they're having a good season, but we'll see. Is Ole Miss?
Yeah.
I feel like they've had some impressive wins this year, but it's just I don't know if I could. Again, I guess
They
I
go
trust
back.
you, Troy. Because there's a lot of teams I don't trust, but
Yeah.
I have a weird feeling like Ole Miss is going to make some noise.
Yeah, and hopefully that's the case. So at least I need one of these teams that beat LSU to go far. That way I can feel a little bit better about that win, or those losses. So because that win against Clemson that I was kind of banking on having a successful season on is that win against Clemson is just not that great anymore because Clemson's 3-3 or 4-3. I don't know. But it's not as impressive as I thought it was going to be.
Sure. Switching gears a little bit from the SEC, Troy. How do you feel about Indiana?
Man, I like Indiana. I like their head coach. He was a small school guy, and I like them. So if none of the teams that I typically root for make the playoffs or they don't go very far, Indiana's going to be that school that I root for and that I follow up with.
Okay. Yeah, Mendoza, he's playing great, right?
Yeah.
And he's neck and neck with Ty Simpson for Heisman consideration. So I tell you, man, like I'm curious to see how they do later in the year, and especially when it gets into Big Ten championship time and playoff time.
Yeah.
They're they're an exciting team to watch, Troy. I tell you.
No,
So
man, that Oregon game was really fun to watch. It was nice to see Oregon go down, and it was nice to see Indiana go down there and take care of business because Autzen Stadium is not an easy place to play.
it's
Um,
not.
so to get a win like that in conference, man, that's big, and that's big for the program. And I once again, man, 2025 is weird. There's a lot of success happening with schools that I never thought were going to be like this successful. Um, but I mean, they seem like they're headed in the right direction. And Indiana, they went ahead and I mean, they made a smart move, right? And they locked Curt in there for quite some time. So um,
Can,
kudos
can
to
you
them.
can you blame them over the past few years what he's been building, Troy? I'm
That
just gonna
and
throw some. Oh, go ahead, Troy.
no, that and you see all these coaching vacancies opening up now. So you're like, yeah, we need to lock this guy in.
100%. Hey, Troy, I want to share some stats with you, okay?
Yeah,
From Indiana. 44.8. That's their points per game. So they're putting up the points, dude.
yeah,
Total offense, 502.8. They're pretty balanced passing and rushing, Troy. 261 per game and 241 per game. So having that type of balance, but putting up the rushing numbers, that's incredible.
yeah.
And then still strong passing numbers. They run 70.8 plays per game, so they keep that pace up. And then look at the difference, Troy. Look at the differential. 11.3 points allowed per game. So I'm not a math whiz by any means, Troy, but
What you mean?
what is
You're a
that, a
teacher?
33.5 differential in terms
Yeah.
of points scored to points allowed? Like, that's incredible. Their defense is only giving up 229 yards per game compared to putting up 502 yards per game. Man, I tell you, Troy, like those stats share it all. They get up, they get out, they run a bunch of plays, they get a bunch of yards, they put the points up on you, and then their defense is relentless.
Well, Chris, like that goes back to us talking about like whenever we talk about coaching vacancies, pay attention to these small school guys because
Yeah,
whenever he was
very.
at Elon, which is a hard place to win anyway. They went to the division. They went to the FCS playoffs 2 years in a row when he was there. He has a combined record of 14-9 there. Now they they went. Well, no, never mind. I'm sorry. In 2017 they went 8-4, and then 2018 they went 6-5. After that, he went to James Madison when they were still in the FCS. They went to the FCS National Championship his first year. Then they went to the semifinals the following 2 years. So he put up impressive numbers there. And then, back in 2022, 2023, that's when they made that conference jump to FBS, or I'm sorry, division jump to FBS. And first year they went 8-3, and then 11-1. So, man, these small school guys, you got to pay attention to them. You got to pay attention to what they're doing with the resources that they have at these lower level schools. And, these guys are going to be really solid coaches, at the higher level there. So, and now
Yeah.
that he's at a school like Indiana in the Big Ten Conference, I mean, man, they have probably endless amount of resources. So, I would like to see them. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them win the national championship. I think that'd be awesome. I mean, that would be better than watching, Ohio State win it or some of these other bigger schools.
No, and with Curt Cignetti, look at what he did even at James Madison, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, what he did with that program and made them competitive when it comes to the Big Ten, Troy. And then too, what I like, Troy, is a school that's patient with their coach, right?
Yeah.
You look at in 2023, right? Troy, they were 3-9, 1-8 in the Big Ten. And then that very next year, 11-2, 8-1. I think was he coach of the year or in the running?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
this year, 6-0, 3-0. They look like a college football playoff front runner, or at least up there. I shouldn't say front runner. That's Ohio State, but at least in the conversation. And then how you just see, from 2023 to 2025, the growth,
Yep.
truly building a program.
Yeah.
And
his first
love to
season they
see
went
it,
to the
man.
playoffs, so they lost the first round of the playoff his first season. So
Well, wait, Troy, wasn't 2023 his first season?
2024 was.
Oh, okay. So then that even tells a different story. I don't know why I thought he started in 2023.
No, so 2023 he was at James Madison, and that's when they even went to a bowl game. So their second year being FBS, that's when they went to a bowl game and stuff. And I can't remember if they won it
You're
or
right. Yes. Because he had success. He was building James Madison, and they picked him up.
not. Yep.
And then, 11-2 right away. And then this year, they're undefeated.
Because their first year being FBS at James Madison, they were Sun Belt co-champions as well. So, that was his first year being FBS. So that tells you that he could put together a staff. That tells you that he could recruit and that people want to play for him. So you got to pay attention to stuff like that, man. And that's what I tell people all the time because, you hear these big names being thrown out there all the time. And, yeah, look at Belichick. People thought they just, went ahead out and picked him up that they were going to start winning, college football championships. And that's just not – that hasn't been the case at all. So
And NFL is totally different,
Yep.
than college football. I know they're trying to turn college football into the NFL, but still, totally different game and style. No, Troy, and you make a great point. In coaches like Cignetti, as well as some of these other coaches, it doesn't matter who you're coaching.
Yeah.
Good coaches are good coaches.
Yeah.
And like you said, I feel like sometimes it's just like sometimes buying name brand, right, Troy? People get caught up in the name brand because they have a reputation of something name brand being the best option, right?
Yeah.
But then sometimes that off brand, Troy, not all the time, but sometimes that off brand's a little bit better than the name brand. And I feel like it's the same way in college, with coaching.
Yeah.
Is everybody wants to go for the guy that had that coached at Notre Dame or Ohio State or a big program, but it's like you also got to look at what did they do at the big program they were at. Also, too, what were they surrounded by? Were they just given a bunch of talent? Were they already inheriting a great system, and then all they had to do was basically not wreck the car?
Yeah.
All they had to do was stand there and just look competent. They didn't even have to do too much. Or did they truly have to go in there, recruit their tail off, scheme hard, build a strong coaching staff? Compared to, you got a guy at the D2 or the FCS level, and you see where with limited resources, they had success and they had to build programs from scratch.
Yeah.
I think those are the guys you want to bring in because with their hunger and their genius, you give them some resources, success immediately.
Yep. Exactly. Man, so great value is okay every now and then. Just make sure it ain't toilet
Every
paper.
now and then.
Yeah, just don't make sure it's toilet paper and we're good. So
I believe that too, Try. I don't get the great value toilet paper.
yeah, you can't. But
Yeah.
man, so switching gears from this, I wanna touch on what New Mexico State's doing right now. So they got back in the win column with Sam Houston State, and I know people are going to be like, "Well, Sam Houston State hasn't even won a game yet." That is true. However, I will say Sam Houston State's going to get a couple wins here. I would be shocked if they went completely 0-12. One thing that you have to keep in mind with Sam Houston is their entire stadium is under construction right now on campus. So they have to drive an hour into Houston to play their games out there. For a college football team to essentially have 12 road games because, yeah, they're playing in Houston, but, like, let's be real. It's not a home game. People aren't used to that culture. That's just, it is what it is. It's going to create, it's going to create, like, not a toxic environment, but an environment where it's kind of hard to win, right? Just because you don't feel like you have that at-home advantage. You're not going to have your fans there. I've been to Huntsville before. That town does support their football teams. I doubt a lot of, it's a small town feel, so you're not going to have a lot of people drive down there to Houston to go watch them play. They rather probably just watch it on TV and avoid that Houston traffic, especially if it's a weekday game. Now, that was an important win for New Mexico State because it very well could have been a loss. Just because Sam Houston, man, they came out swinging. And at this point in the season, that's what they're going to do every weekend. They're going to throw everything that they have out there, right? And, New Mexico State did a pretty good job of establishing the run game, playing good defense, and that has been the game changer lately is establishing that run game. It has been better these last couple of weeks, and you have seen a difference offensively because they're putting up more points on the board. Now, that was an important win to kind of get in that win column again. Now, whenever they played Liberty, man, I thought that should have been a must-win game for them because, one, Liberty has kind of became a little rivalry game between the schools. So we've seen them in the conference championship. We used to play them twice a year in the regular season whenever we were having those scheduling issues and, we were independent. Now, it has kind of become a little rivalry game, and, man, it always seems like they just come up on the other end. Now, I was really hoping that NMSU would have came out this year and really dominated them. They started off slow. They got off to a slow start, and I think that's what killed them. But they had an opportunity there at the very end to win it, and, man, special teams was that was their Achilles, man, their Achilles tendon there. So 2 muff punts, you can't do that.
Achilles
Kick return,
tendon or Achilles heel, Troy.
Yeah, man. You talk about defense played pretty well. So I don't blame Tony Sanchez for wanting to pin him deep, and hope that your defense could stop them because your defense was playing really well, even in the red zone. I think Liberty they were in the red zone twice and they got stopped. So, at least they got held to a field goal. Now, man, the odds are in your favor at that point. But once again, kudos to Logan Fife. That dude threw a bomb at the very end to at least give them a chance, to kick that game-winning field goal. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way, man. That was a tough loss. I went to bed sick after that game. But, they're still undefeated at home. So go to the games if you're available. Like, if you're able to, go to the games, create that good environment because, man, they're still undefeated at home. That's something to look forward to. And they're 3-3 right now. So that's not bad, especially for New Mexico State. That's not bad halfway through the season because, Chris, me and you have sat through those seasons where it's 0-6, 1-5 by this time of the season. Now, man, they have an opportunity to go to a bowl game. And I think their must-win games, like their path to a bowl game, they have to win this week, which is they're actually playing Wednesday night. They have to beat Missouri State. That's a must-win. Kennesaw State, they're a must-win, but they're playing good football right now. If you lose to them, man, you definitely got to beat your rivals, UTEP, right up the street. You have to. You can't let them get hot this time of the season because they also beat Sam Houston State. They're back on the winning path now, so we'll see what they do this week. And then also Middle Tennessee is a must-win as well. They still have to play Tennessee, so they got to get out of that game healthy. Obviously, probably count that as a loss, but they got to get out of there healthy, man. And that's kind of my path to a bowl game right now. You can still have a pretty good season, and I think they're going to do better in recruiting next year. I think they're going to get some solid guys, and I think you're going to see a completely different team But one thing that I could respect about this team, Chris, is that you have seen them improve week in and week out. Maybe except that La Tech game, but
Yeah.
man, like we have seen teams before, Chris, like especially in New Mexico State, it was usually over in the second quarter. Like they were getting
it was
blown
a
out,
dumpster fire.
wasn't even competitive, wasn't even fun to watch. But one thing that I could respect is, man, New Mexico State they could have lost early on. They fought their way back. They were down 20-6 at halftime, but they fought their way back into the game, and they ended up taking the lead, holding the Liberty, 27-20, and unfortunately gave up some late points that cost them the game. But man, they fought back, and that's something that we haven't seen from teams in the past. And that's what I want people to focus on, is focus on the growth, because at one point New Mexico State wasn't fun to watch. So if you could focus on those points, I think you'll have a different type of appreciation for them.
I agree, Troy. The word resiliency comes to my mind, and that was a positive from this game. It was frustrating, like you said, that they could have won, but resiliency, right? When they were down 20-6, they came back. That shows character. That shows toughness. That's something that you could feel good about. I think, of course, the key for this week is just really honing in execution, especially with the special teams, right? Like giving up a 96-yard kick return, Troy, that could be preventable.
Yeah.
The muffed punt, that's preventable.
2 muffed punts.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 2. But and then the one that led to the touchdown, right?
Yep.
Preventable. And I think that's the thing is, I feel like those situations are more effort situations, right?
Yeah.
Typically on a muff punt, it's, a focus or a concentration thing, right?
Yeah.
And then kick return is everybody in their lane. That's an effort thing, right? So I just think you fix that up and you watch the film on that, and hey, if you're going to be out there, you got to execute. You clean that up, Troy. They could get 2 or 3 wins going into the final stretch of the season, and they could get to a bowl, man. I think they could beat UTEP. They could beat Kennesaw State. They could even beat Missouri State.
I think they could even beat Western Kentucky. You know what I mean? Western Kentucky, I mean, they got beat like a drum the other night by Kennesaw State. So, I mean, man, like, I think they're all winnable besides Tennessee. It's just all going to come down to execution, man. And but it's important to keep supporting these guys and, going to the games, doing all that, because, man, create a fun environment. Because when we were there earlier this year, it was a fun environment. So.
And exactly. And, when we went, Troy, it was really fun. Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, if you're in town, or if you're in Las Cruces, I should say, and you have time to go to one of the NMSU games, go support, enjoy yourselves. Don't wait for something to like what I'm trying to say, Troy, is people shouldn't be like, I need all these bells and whistles to be entertained.
Yeah.
Go out there, bring your family, and just watch good football and enjoy the atmosphere. And make it an event, right? Go eat something good afterwards. Do a little tailgating before. Talk to people. Make it into an event.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. It's a fun environment. It's a fun atmosphere, but man, the fans make it that way, right? Even though we've sat through some games where there's not a lot of people in the stands, but we've seen some fun, fun endings. So, remember Louisiana Lafayette, whenever they had that Jennings kid there, they went into like a double overtime type of situation. And,
see,
it was a good time, man. So, but yeah, so no, it's good, man. We'll see what happens. Hopefully they could continue to, push onward and like get to the bowl game.
Yeah, that would be beautiful, and it's doable. That's the thing; it's doable.
Yeah.
So we can get there, and we just have to support. Um, all right, Troy. Switching gears to some of the big news: James Franklin, Billy Napier. What do you think of those two firings?
Man, I feel like Napier I saw coming. James Franklin, I think I saw coming too, just because of the fan base. Like, you obviously
Yeah,
saw
they're
like his
passionate.
support towards the end, and it's crazy, man. It's mind blowing because he has done a lot of stuff at Penn State. I like James Franklin. I just think after a while, like, um, they went to the playoffs last year and stuff, but they're just not going to be a national championship team. And it's one of those things where someone could stay somewhere for a little too long and their message will get stale. But I don't know. I know James Franklin's going to be coaching somewhere else this year, and whoever picks him up, it's going to be a great hire. I think he's a great coach, and I think he's done good
Florida.
things
No.
everywhere. Yeah, seriously, imagine that. And wherever he goes, man, he's going to be successful. So, and it's just crazy because you see like different spectrums, right? You see schools that just can't win with the coach that they have in place. For instance, Jay Norville from Colorado State, great coach. I like him. But, dude, for some reason, Colorado State's becoming a serious school. They're about to go join the Pac-12. They are investing a lot more. They have a brand new stadium. They're investing more money and just like everything into their football team. But the wins just haven't, translated on the field there. So you see teams like that just can't win with their guy and they fire him. Versus, big schools like Penn State, they're like, no, you better win a national championship or you're going to get fired. So it's kind of crazy to see just how different these schools are and just the type of money and how much money is being spent on these coaches' buyouts. And I mean, because James Franklin, he's going to get paid $50 million just to sit on the couch for the next couple of, if he wants.
Imagine that, Troy. Get paid $50 million just to hang out
Man,
at home.
I wish I had that problem. So
Same here. No, I agree, Troy. Billy Napier, I saw that one coming as well. They just haven't been successful. I mean, they beat Texas, but
yeah,
outside of that, they haven't really done much. As for James Franklin, again, I like him a lot. Great guy, passionate coach. Good, he knows how to really, do some good things with the program. But my analogy, Troy, is this: James Franklin and Penn State the past few years, it's kind of like going to a fancy restaurant, right?
yeah,
Beautiful aesthetics, service is top tier, everything looks good, and then they roll out with this little piece of meat or chicken, and then they try to, put all those little fancy decorations around it. Then you eat it, and you're kind of like, that's it? That's my analogy is it's like they look the part. They have some really cool players there.
yeah,
Guys that are supposed to be – they get guys drafted every year, right? Rabid fan base, of course. Some of the best in the country. They win, 10 games, 11 games. But then they always just kind of fall short and leave you unsatisfied.
yeah.
They either lose early in the playoffs or they lose to an Ohio State or a Michigan when they need to beat them. And it just seems like when they need to show that they could be a national championship contender, they fall short.
Yeah. No, man, I agree. And then those guys are frustrating and stuff. And I feel like Brian Kelly's kind of in that category right now.
I
Dude,
agree.
yeah, like it's just kind of one of those things, man, where you're like, we got to see something, But yeah, man, I saw the Billy Napier thing happen, but it's kind of interesting to see how these teams are doing. Like, for instance, like University of Alabama Birmingham, they fired their head coach. Their interim head coach takes over, and they beat Memphis this past weekend, who's ranked. They were ranked number 22, I think, and big win for them. They weren't able to do much in the regular season, and they seem like they're kind of finding some success. And you look at UCLA, for instance. UCLA fires their head coach early on, and all of a sudden they're on a 3-game win streak. So
Yeah.
so I've always been kind of turned off on the idea of firing your head coach early on, but then again, now I get it. Just because, man, there's going to be names being thrown out there. You got people to consider, So you want to get some interest in your school pretty quick. So,
just to kind of play this game, Troy, I'm gonna throw some popular names out there and tell me what you think. For Penn State, this isn't a popular name, but for Penn State, I'm thinking Brian Hartline. He's the offensive coordinator. I want to say he's the offensive coordinator. Or Ohio State, yeah. Receiver there, played some NFL ball for, I think, the Browns and the Dolphins. And then as soon as he retired or was kind of, forced out the league, he started coaching at Ohio State right away and has been there since. I don't know. He's just a young guy. He's played at the NFL level. I think he would bring kind of that fire and those fresh ideas. I wouldn't mind seeing him at Penn State. In terms of Florida, hear me out on this. Just that state, that Central Florida region, just a guy that's going to bring that discipline, but at the same time, going to bring that love and that heart. I know this is going to sound crazy, but what do you think of John Gruden? He used to go to Tampa, he's been in Florida. I know that whole situation, of course, that's on his record, but then it's coming out now that he was kind of thrown under the bus a bit. So, I mean, hey, the guy loves football. He's a popular name. He's respected. He works hard. I mean, I just feel like that Florida culture and the state and him winning a Super Bowl in Tampa, he's going to gain instant respect. I don't know, Troy. I wouldn't mind seeing that, John Gruden at Florida.
So, to answer your first question about Penn State, yes, yeah. I like what you had to say, and I agree with your pick. However, I will say I think Matt Rule's going to Penn State. I'm already saying that. I think that's a done deal. I mean, I think that's an opportunity he's not going to pass up. I know he's trying to downplay it right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Rule is the new head coach at Penn State. As far as Gruden down over there in Florida, I would like that. I like John Gruden a lot. I think he's a character for sure. He's a good coach. But what about, hear me out now, what about Alex Galesh, or the USF head coach?
You wouldn't have to move far.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, man, okay. I did not think USF was going to do very well this year. I thought they'd be like a 6-6 team. But they've kind of surprised me. He seems like he was born in Moscow, Russia, by the way. So yeah. I didn't know about that. But yeah, he has it's hard to win in South Florida. So he's doing a pretty good job. He's been competitive, and hell, they beat Florida this year. So I mean, he's a name that comes to mind.
Troy, wait, is Golesh, was he the OC at Tennessee a couple years ago?
I don't.
I want to say he was the OC at Tennessee a couple years ago, and he was when they were putting up all those numbers.
Yeah, he was.
He's a big time offensive guy. I mean,
yeah,
he's definitely
that might be someone that they look at. So he's 2-0 in his bowl games. Overall record 19-13, but. Man, Billy Napier, whenever Florida picked him up, so Florida has a habit of picking up these coaches that come from these smaller schools. Billy Napier came from Louisiana Lafayette when they had all this success, and they were making bowl games pretty consistently. And then they brought in McElwain from Jim McElwain from Colorado State, and he had a pretty decent career at Florida for a while. But man, this Galesh coach, that would be a pretty good little hire, I think. Obviously, guys like playing for him. He's doing pretty good over there at USF. So
You know, I'm reading something right now, Troy. Um, Everybody that they interview says he's very detail oriented,
yeah,
and he's like one of the hardest working coaches you'll ever meet.
yeah,
He's all about the little things. So, hey, a guy that's detail oriented, hardworking, and has had success wherever he's been, whether it's at the coordinator role or the head coaching role, you can't go wrong with a guy
yeah.
like that, really. And
You
Troy,
know,
let's be honest, he's probably going to be cheaper than bringing in, a big name.
yeah. You know what, Chris? Forget it. Penn State, they're going Jason Eck. They're picking up Jason Eck these next couple of
I don't
weeks.
know, Troy.
Uh,
I don't know about that,
no,
but
but in all seriousness, I could see like Jason Eck going to and obviously he'd probably have a little heavy buyout, but I could see him going to Colorado State. And the reason why I say that, yes, they're in the same conference. Colorado State has a little bit more money, better facilities. They just built that brand new stadium a couple years ago, and they're going into the Pac-12. So
see.
I could definitely see him making that move, if I'm being honest. But we'll see. We'll see how they do. UNM's been kicking butt this year. I mean, they've been doing pretty well. They kind of had a slow start against Nevada yesterday, or Nevada. I don't know why I said it like that the first time, but they beat them 24-22. So, I thought they would put a little bit more points on the board, but yeah, UNM's taking care of business. And once again, another place where it's just kind of hard to win. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, Chris, switching gears real quick. Who
Yes, yeah.
so far with the teams that are bowl eligible so far? Who are you impressed with?
Who am I impressed with, Troy?
I'll get a start on this. I'm impressed with Hawaii. Hawaii's already
Okay.
bowl eligible. Hawaii got their 6th win this past weekend. So I will be honest, I did not see that coming. I thought that was going to be another 5-7 season, but Timmy Chang, man, he's got him going. So good for Hawaii.
Wasn't Timmy Chang their quarterback years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Back
when
in
he
the
was putting up all those numbers.
early 2000s and the early WAC days. Yeah, he was.
Back when the air raid just ran rampant everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So
Remember those
I think
days,
that was
Troy?
back when they were like the top of the WAC and stuff. So man, yeah, they picked
I
up
miss
their
the old whack.
yeah. So I'm actually pretty impressed with the fact that they're bowl eligible. So they picked up that 6th win this past weekend against Colorado State. But they've played good football all throughout the year. So I'm pretty impressed with them.
You know what teams, Troy, I'm actually really impressed with? I'm impressed with Georgia Tech.
Yes.
I did not expect a 7-0 start. They've been kicking some butt, man. So I've been really impressed with Georgia Tech. I've also, Troy, been really impressed with Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah. But man, Texas A&M, once again, they're one of those teams that they will do good all throughout the year, but they will let you down at the very end. So,
Sure.
So that's where I could be wrong. This could be the year that they go far in the playoffs. I don't know. But man, I'm with you on Georgia Tech. I really like the Yellow Jackets there. I think Coach Key, he was a good fit for that team. So he was a former offensive lineman at Georgia Tech. That's his alma mater. Because before that, when they brought in that Collins coach, he wanted to switch things up completely. He wanted to do away from the triple option. He wanted to do away from all that stuff. I think he was trying to make them more of a spread team. But man, Coach Key, he's a good coach, and I wouldn't mind seeing them go far in the playoffs either. So, but it's nice to see Georgia Tech, have some success. That's a place that I do want to go watch a game one day, Chris. So,
Georgia Tech, yeah.
Go to the ATL and so go check it out. So,
You know what's another team I'm impressed with, Troy? Of course, Indiana, but we've talked about Indiana, but also Louisville this year.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean they beat
impressed with
Miami.
Louisville. They had a big win against Miami. Yeah, I mean, hey, Jeff Brom, right? Good coach. He played at Louisville back in the day. I think was it Jeff Brom, Troy, that has the famous clip of when he was in the XFL and he's all concussed. And and he's just like, hey, this is I forget what he says, but like dude can barely even walk, but he's all hyped up.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Look it up, Troy. It's either him or his brother.
You
But
know,
one of them,
when this podcast starts evolving and we start having more time to figure out Riverside, we're gonna start showing these clips and start having fun with them.
yeah, Troy. I want to say it's him. Where
Okay.
you have to look up the Jeff Brom Let's Play Football, Troy. You're gonna laugh.
I'm
It's
gonna have to
back in
listen.
the day, 2001, when Vince McMahon owned the
The
XFL,
XFL,
and
yeah.
dude took a hit, dude, and he gets up wobbling, Troy, literally wobbling, and he's all, "Let's play football," and everybody gets all hyped up. But yeah, man, dude's a man's man. So
That's
I
awesome.
mean, you know, um, it's great to see him have success. Louisville's always one of those schools that I always try to somewhat keep up with, and
Yeah.
it's good to see that they're doing well. So
Yeah, no, like I said, man, once this podcast starts evolving a little bit, we're gonna start showing some of these clips and some of these videos and get a couple laughs out of
yeah,
there. You know, I'm even gonna start a segment where we just show like sideline issues happening, or sideline, or just paying attention to,
that
just
would
the
be
crowd, just
hilarious.
because you see some goofy stuff happening in the crowd all the time. So I encourage
Sure.
you, next time you're watching a football game, man, when they start showing those clips in the crowd, just really look. You're gonna catch so much stuff. So
You know what game we should play, Troy?
what is
We
it?
need to buy you a shiesty, one of those like ski masks. And every time there's a player that's wearing the ski mask of the shiesty on the sideline, Troy, we need to have you put it on.
Why do I need to put it on? I don't want to wear no shiesty.
I think it would be because see, Troy, if I do it, it's expected, but if you do it, it's hilarious.
Maybe we're gonna have to figure something out. Um,
We got to get like a bright pink one too,
ooh,
just
I
to
don't know
make it
about
funny.
that. So, I'm gonna get you a rainbow one. So,
Yeah. I ain't trying. I don't know about that, but
but hey, man. So I know we're kind of winding down now. We went a little longer than what we planned, but you know what? That's a good thing. We're getting back into the swing of
it
things.
is a good
So,
thing.
yeah, I'm happy now. I will say, Chris, some Division II action that I've been paying attention to.
Okay.
Northeastern State, Oklahoma. They had a big win against William and Jewell this last weekend here, and William Jewell is in the Kansas City area. But once again, this school was not very good a couple years ago. They have always had issues winning. So I believe they're 3-3 right now, or 3-4. However, they are showing improvement every game. So the week before, they had a tough loss against West Florida. And for those of you who don't know who West Florida is, they are another Division II powerhouse. I think right now they're ranked number 4 in the country in Division II. So they will be one of those teams that, fights for a national championship at the end of the year. But it's nice to see some success coming from Northeastern State. They're doing really well, and that's a Division II game that or Division II school that I'm going to be following up with throughout the year. Another Division II game that I'm going to be paying attention to this week is the Chili Bowl. So Eastern New Mexico versus Western New Mexico. That's happening. So I believe it's going to be played in Silver City this year. Both teams are struggling. I think it'll be a pretty good battle. I am pulling for Western on this one because Western hasn't won this rivalry a bunch. So every time they get a win under their belt, every time they win the Chili Bowl, I think it's a pretty unique time for them. So that's a game that I'm going to be paying attention to this week.
Hey Troy, so I want to talk about a game last week that had some notoriety at the FCS level.
Yeah,
Real quick, Troy, did you check in at all on that UT Martin Gardner Webb game?
I didn't. No.
I thought it was going to be closer, but UT Martin blew out Gardner Webb.
Oh, really?
So yeah, UT Martin looks pretty good. So I kind of want to see how they do continuing, as they continue the year. So
Yeah. So, because
I'm
UT Martin, they
interested.
went up. Um, Man, UT Martin, they went up to UTEP earlier this year, and they gave UTEP their first win, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, UTEP has been or UT Martin has been pretty competitive. They play in a pretty competitive conference, so we'll see how they do this year. But Chris, an FCS game that I'm also going to highlight this week is Sac State and well, wait, let me reverse this. Let me rewind this a little bit. I want to give kudos to Northern Colorado. And the reason why I say this is because Northern Colorado, they have not been great at the D1 level. They have always fell short in each season that they've been D1. But right now, they're sitting at 3-4. They lost a tough one last night against Sac State. They were leading the entire game and lost at the very end. Sac State has recently become a powerhouse. They are talking about making that transition to FBS, building a new stadium, etc. Now, Northern Colorado seems to finally have, turned that corner, and they're a school that I want to pay attention to for the remainder of the year, and hopefully they could at least finish out with a 500 season or, maybe have a winning season. But a game that I want to focus on this weekend on the FCS level, and it's going to be fun for everyone if you want to watch it on TV, Missouri and Sac State. So go on YouTube and see what Sac State's president had to say about Missouri. So this guy was making some off-the-wall comments, dude. So basically making fun of their mascot. It's not even like, I don't even think it's a big rivalry game. It's just he's picking at Montana because they're undefeated this year. They they get to come to Sac State and play, but man, I was kind of blown away with what their president was saying. So I really hope I'm gonna be pulling for Montana on this one. I would definitely like to see every time I don't know, I'm not like much of a smack talker like that, so every time I see someone go out and kind of run their mouth like that, it's nice to kind of shut them up, right? So. But yeah, that's a video you're gonna have to check out a little later, and then you'll know what I'm talking about.
Troy, I know what team you're gonna check in on. Your Idaho Vandals, huh? You should
They're
get an easy
struck,
win against
man.
Portland State, right?
Yeah. Portland State's terrible, but yeah, Idaho's struggling, and they really are. So, and Chris, that's another place we got to go watch a game. We got to go to Kibby Dome and check it out one of these days.
Yeah.
So. Whenever we start, this GoFundMe for our for our trips. So, but
For the man. No.
but no, man. Yeah, I'll be checking in on them too. So we got a lot of good football happening this weekend. So just be sure to kind of tune in, check it out. Vandy and Missouri, they're going to be kicking it off. That's Vandy's next game. I'm going to be paying attention to it. I know the rest of the world, the rest of the U.S. is at least.
Yeah.
So, and the coaching carousel is already kind of shaping up to be fun. So, we'll see what plays out.
I'm excited too, Troy. It should be a good weekend. For our fans, stay engaged with us this week. We promise we're going to do a lot more. We're going to have some polls up on our Instagram. We're going to do some things on Facebook. I know we kind of had a hiatus for a bit. Life kind of got in the way and vacations and all sorts of stuff, but we're back in full force, so we're definitely going to push the engagement this week. So just stay tuned, and thank you all for tuning in. Thanks, Troy.
Yeah, and did you already stop it? Hey, you don't have to stop it yet.
Not yet.
Okay. So also,
Yeah.
just to kind of keep you guys informed, we might have our first guest appearance on the show coming up. Okay. We're still trying to confirm the details on that, but we got a treat for you guys. So just stay tuned. And once we can confirm this, I mean, it'll be great, and we'll definitely let you guys know.
Definitely. All right. Thank you all, everybody. Appreciate you all tuning in. Take care.